I should own that by a certain age. I should be that at a certain age. I always think to myself, like, first of all, would you want those things? If yes, then are you working towards it? If you are, then you have to let go and realize that your time will come. Navigating life in your 30s is a weird one. I always thought that by the time I turned 25, I would be happily married, have kids, live in a big, beautiful house that we own, and then I would have my dream car and a thriving career. But fast forward to today, that's just not the case. You know, I turned 31 this year, and even though I don't have all those things, but I am pretty content with my life right now. But at the same time, I find that those expectations with a timeline has been ingrained in my head since I was young. I guess it's subconsciously inside my mind, even though I don't pressure myself to have those expectations. But sometimes certain questions come up, I just automatically think about it and I start to question myself like, oh, did I take the wrong path? Should I be doing this? Should I be owning that? And it's kind of ridiculous. I realized that my idea of being stable in life has looked so different, but yet my idea of stable back then sometimes creeps into the present, which is a weird thing to say. So I'll give you an example. When I see someone my age or younger that owns a house, has a car, has a family of their own, and they seem to be happily married, I think that is the perfect picture of someone who is stable in life. It just screams stability to me. And I find that I am deranged. No, I don't find that. Well, maybe sometimes. But I realized that I set that expectation in my head when I was young, and it just follows until right now I'm in my 30s. And when you think about it, comparison is the thief of joy. When I see people my age or younger, having that picture of stability, I always have to take a step back and just peel the curtains and realize that we all have shit going on, Not everyone has their life together. It may seem like that on the forefront, but behind the scenes, so many things are happening. And I know that, which is just such a weird thing, right? It's kind of like when you see people on social media having perfect lives, going on vacation and earning six figures, but you know that their life is not perfect, but at the same time, your brain is like, no, their life is perfect and yours suck, which is so ridiculous when you think about it because everyone is different. We all face different things in our lives. We're in different seasons in our lives. And when you start to compare your life with other people, it's just not great. It just brings you down in a negative way. But coming back to, having the picture of stability, I realized that we were so used to having expectations or creating expectations and that we should reach them by a certain age. So having expectations and a timeline, and we are pressuring ourselves to reach that. And even though you don't want to follow these societal expectations, I'm using air quotes right here, sometimes you can't help but think about it. And I don't know if it's just me, but I do realize that sometimes we kind of need to have a certain expectation to our timeline, aka our age. And I think this mostly applies to women, especially if they plan to have kids in the future. Obviously, it's harder to conceive when you're older, and that's why people always mention, you have to consider your biological clock, at a certain age where it's easier to conceive, blah, blah, blah. I get that. But other than that, I find that we don't have to put a timeline in our lives. I really believe that whatever is meant to happen for you will happen for you in time. Everything has a time and place. And every time I see something that I feel like, I should have done that at a certain age. I should own that by a certain age. I should be that at a certain age. I always think to myself, like, first of all, would you want those things? If yes, then are you working towards it? If you are, then you have to let go and realize that your time will come. I mean, even in terms of work, I've always thought that, at this age, I would become like a semi-billionaire. That's such a weird thing to say. Like, I would at least have like 500K in savings, but I don't. I do want that and I am working towards that, but I just don't right now. In the past, like I've always thought that I would, reach a certain amount, my net worth would be this much and life would be so much more easier because let's face it, in order for you to enjoy life, you need to have your finances in order. And I'm not saying just to have stability, but depending on the lifestyle that you want, you know. Let's say if you like to go skiing in the mountains, you can't survive if you only have like $500 to your name. You know what I mean? The year that I turned 30, so many things changed. So many things happened within that year. And looking back at it now, even though that was last year, I'm really fucking proud of myself of how things turned out and how I navigated life, because I don't know if it's like a thing where when you enter a new decade, new things happen. Is it like an enlightenment thing, a metamorphosis thing, without sounding super cheesy? But I find that big changes happen as soon as you reach a new decade. I guess when you go through certain obstacles in your life and you have like certain experiences, I suppose naturally you just become wiser. Well, I hope I am wiser now that I am like, you know, few years older. You tend to be confident in setting boundaries and stand on your ground and know what decisions that you have to make in order to make certain things happen in your life. And I think for me, because in my 20s, I was so used to going with the flow and just depending on people to make my future happen, which is something that I've realized and I don't want to admit because it's really embarrassing, because you are the author of your life, you know, author. You are the author of your life and you can edit it anytime you want. But I find that when I was in my 20s, I was just easily swayed with what people want in their lives. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to jump on that boat too and let's go along with it. Even though deep down, I knew that it wasn't something that I would like. But in my head, I'm like, no, just do this, okay? You will never know what's going to happen. And I guess in life, you kind of have to take two different paths. Like, there's two choices that you have. You have to either go left or go right. I decided to go one direction, and that's just how life has turned out. I wouldn't change a thing. Well, maybe I would. I would change one thing, but at the same time, if I did change it, then I wouldn't be learning different life lessons that I have accumulated now. But I guess whatever phase you are in your life right now, you will definitely learn a lot about yourself. I used to be really active in this YouTube channel. I used to upload vlogs, beauty videos, tutorials and stuff like that in my 20s. But now that I am in my 30s, I find that I want to utilize this YouTube channel and talk more about, you know, how I'm navigating my life in my 30s. So yeah, thank you for watching this video and hopefully I'll see you in my next one.